What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So we got a lot of stuff that we got to get to today because President Biden likes inflation. He thinks inflation's good. We also have an update regarding stimulus because this ties into what President Biden said yesterday. We also know, as of today, Nancy Pelosi is going to rerun for Congress, but we don't know if she's going to try to be Speaker of the House. So got some information updates there. We're also going to talk about the border issue. When I say border issue, I'm talking about both borders. The border from Russia and Ukraine, and also the border from Mexico and the United States. Big updates here, a lot of questions, and I want to get your take on this as well. So first off, hopefully you guys have had an incredible Tuesday. If you could, and if you would, please do me a favor. This does help out the channel when you just hit that like button. Now let's jump into the update. Because President Biden said yesterday, and he called a reporter an SOB. Now, he called him this for asking him about inflation prior to the midterm elections. And the reporter said, and I quote, "Do you think inflation is a political liability in the midterms?" And President Biden said, "That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid SOB." But he said this in a very mild tone. He was, according to reports, he did not know that the microphone was on. He thought it was off. Now, this statement from President Biden has many people wondering, is President Biden for inflation? Because he says that's a great asset. More inflation. Now, right now, about 50% of Americans say they are struggling to keep up with their bills due to high inflation. Millions of families, they were accepting of the fact of higher inflation, but that was when they were getting child tax credit payments. Now, these payments have stopped and they can't afford their everyday needs. This is turning into a major issue. However, this remark from President Biden has many people wondering if the Build Back Better Act is getting pushed without any regard to inflation. And some question President Biden's moves now because there's multiple experts that are now wondering if Senator Joe Manchin was right all along. But this move and this remark by President Biden could make passing any additional stimulus at this point very difficult. But let me ask you this. Do you think that President Biden was pushing the idea of the Build Back Better Act at $2.2 trillion, which eventually came down to 1.7? Do you think he was pushing this without any regard to inflation? He didn't care? Because according to multiple statements from Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, from President Biden, the White House, multiple lawmakers, that the Build Back Better Act was going to have nothing to do with inflation. It would not increase inflation one bit. It wouldn't add to the national deficit either. Well, we know that was a lie. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you think President Biden was pushing this bill even though he knew this would actually create more inflation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Now, here's something else we learned today, that Nancy Pelosi announced she is going to run for a re-election to Congress. However, and she's stated this multiple times, that this is her final time as Speaker of the House. But she said today, and I quote, "We have made progress. Much more needs to be done to improve people's lives." She also stated that this fall's midterms are crucial and there's nothing less is at stake than our democracy. But we don't agonize, we organize. I am running for re-election to Congress to deliver for the people and defend democracy. Now, in Nancy Pelosi's campaign video, she started off by calling for things like justice for immigrants, affordable housing, issues related to education, voting rights, and other goals as well. But here's where things get interesting. According to multiple House Democrats, they're ready for a transition. Nancy Pelosi has been in Congress, in the House of Representatives, I believe since 1987. That was the year I was born. Now, Democrats are ready for a transition. Progressives want to see change. Many younger Democrats, especially in the House, are ready for new leadership, according to them, to help guide the Democratic Party into the next phase. And what is the next phase? Because many people question whether Nancy Pelosi can do this because of her old ways. Now, it doesn't mean her ways and her methods aren't effective. They're very effective, or some say they're very effective in the Congress that we have, which I think the average age is like 66 years old, 67 years old. It's up there, right? So is it right to stay when we need to transition? Maybe it's to a younger crowd, younger demographic. We don't know. But what do you think? Should Nancy Pelosi even rerun for Congress? And should she continue on as Speaker of the House, or do you think she must go? Let me know down in the comment section below. Now, let's get to the border issues, because this is big. And I want to bring this up because I've been thinking this for the past few days, but I want to address what's going on. The U.S. is going to be sending about 8,500 troops to be on the ground just in case things escalate. Ukraine has been saying that they don't need any help from the United States. We actually offered, and now NATO is in control of the USS Harry S. Truman naval ship. And reports say that Russia is not backing down. But I bring this up for a few reasons. The United States is going to be finalizing plans to divert gas from Europe or to Europe if Russia decides to cut them off. We're actually sending thousands of troops, which is coming less than 5 months after we pulled out of Afghanistan in the longest war that we've been in. Some say we're putting ourselves in a position to start the next world war, and all this is happening while we can't control our own border between the U.S. and Mexico. Now, in a recent report, it states that 820,000 illegal immigrants have stayed in the U.S. and have been given financial assistance. But here's my question to you. Do you have any issue with the U.S. trying to secure a border in another country while we are struggling right here at home with issues of our own border? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, because I've been thinking about this for the last few days. Is we are over there trying to protect the border of between Russia and Ukraine. I get it, I understand it, but here's the thing: we have issues at our own border. We are not controlling our own border. So if I was Ukraine, I'd be looking at the U.S. and be like, why would I want you to help protect my border when you can't protect your own border? And so I was thinking, we're giving money away to illegal immigrants. And not just from Mexico. They're from anywhere down south. Anywhere. And that's the issue that I think a lot of people have is, so we have to pay, our taxes are going to increase. We're seeing more inflation. We're not getting any additional assistance from the U.S. government. And all at the same time, the U.S. government is giving more relief, more assistance to illegal immigrants coming into the country illegally than we are getting as U.S. citizens. But again, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I just thought this was interesting. Just wanted to bring this up. But let's talk about COVID for a second. Because the Biden administration has officially withdrawn their vaccine rule. Now, this is good news to many, as millions of Americans would have really been impacted by this. Millions of Americans would have lost their jobs if this rule would have gone into effect. This was simply that you either had to be vaccinated, or you had to, I think, take weekly tests. Was it weekly or daily? I don't remember. I think it was weekly tests to be able to work for any employer that had more than 100 employees. So they have withdrawn this rule, and it's pretty much because Supreme Court's pretty much shot them down. But this rule is gone. We also know the U.S. has a 7-day average of deaths due to COVID of 2,188 deaths. This is the new 7-day average. This is the highest daily death rate we have seen since February 17th, 2021. This isn't great. This is not great news, because more deaths means, especially COVID-related deaths, means that we are seeing that the vaccinations that we have received obviously are not working, which is a cause for concern because some people are wondering, or the Biden administration is wondering, why people are not rushing out to get the booster because the booster is going to save you. But yet, the booster doesn't actually save you. Does it help? Does it reduce your symptoms? Some say yes, some say no. Everybody's a specific case. So, I understand why many people are skeptical, first, of going to get the vaccine, and second, to go and get a booster of this vaccine. So, we will see what happens, but that is what we know as of right now. I promise, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. Just want to thank you guys for watching. If you could and you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.